This is a leash session with a pit bull who was like a super sweet dog, but she was like real excited. And she was a member, the newest member of a household with young kids and other animals. And while she was filled with love and joy and made everybody happy, she was kind of driving everybody crazy because she just didn't have an off switch. Anytime something happened, she would just get super duper excited. Her tail's like 2.5 feet long, some seems like, and it would just whack stuff, knock stuff off the tables, whack the little kid in the face when it came, walking around. And she was just, for lack of a better word, she was just straight up obnoxious. And it's not something we would hold against her. So they brought me in to work with her to basically just teach her manners. When people came to the door, they had a lot of family coming over to visit the house all throughout the day. A lot of delivery people coming in, different repairmen, that kind of stuff. So it was a very active household with a lot of life and a lot of energy. And she didn't know her place there. So, like I said from the beginning, I always tell my clients, let's not focus on behavior. Let's focus on what's your dog's state of mind and work from there. And we'll deal with the behavior, but I'm not going to come at the behavior head on. If I was to come into the house and just immediately start focusing on trying to calm this dog down, it would have just been a battle. Her energy against mine, and she was super excited, and I'm trying to get her to be calm. That's not fair. It's not fair to her, and it's not a practical way to solve any problem long term. So, this is how I work with a dog like that. I take time and I just go through the same repetitive things to teach the dog that they don't need to be reactive, that there's a time to play and then there's a time to not play, and that they need to be willing to cooperate with the human owner who is dictating when those times are. For instance, we could be playing all real happy, and then the door could ring, and I could have to deal with something, or the owner would have to deal with something, and the dog needs to just stop playing and just wait. That kind of thing. Just everything in time and place, and its appropriate expression. So you can see she's super distracted. There's people walking down the sidewalk. There's like a dog walking by and all kinds of stuff. It's a beautiful day. People are, making noises. She's standing right in front of her house when we're doing this exercise, so she can actually see her owners. I think one of them came in and went out to the car and got something and went back in the house. So of course, her owners at this point still represent excitement to her. So she's going to get excited when she sees the owners. Like, does your dog go all crazy when you come home, and does it get all excited to see you and stuff? That's cute and stuff, but it's not really healthy for the dog. Dogs don't express themselves in that way naturally. They learn to mirror us. So when you have a dog and you get home and you're all excited to see it, and then it's excited to see you, that excited energy is okay if you know how to channel it and surf it out like a wave. But most people don't. They just leave the dog in that amped up state of mind, and then the dog, continues to want to engage, and they're just being normal. They're like, well, we were all excited. What are we doing now? And unless you're very clear, like, I'm not saying you can't get excited to see your dog. You can do whatever you want as long as the communication is clear. Like, hey, I'm super happy to see you. I love you. I love you. All right, go lay down. That kind of thing. Just like be clear with the dog. And because her owners were really, they were really good at raising children, but the concepts of raising children don't cross over onto dogs. Therefore, they were having a hard time communicating their expectations with this dog, and an even harder time following through. So I kind of had my work cut out with me with this one, just because there was a lot of water under the bridge, and she was still a young pup, which made it in some ways easier to help her, but in some ways a little bit tricky, because her problem was her expression of her high energy, and the combination of her age and her breed, she had like extremely high energy. So you'll see in another video that in this very same training session, we brought out a toy and shifted into play, and that was after this. I needed her to sort of get on the same page with me before I was going to introduce the toy and introduce excitement. I wanted her to just kind of follow me around the street a little bit in a nonchalant way, but in a way that was very clear that I was the one that was determining the boundaries and where I wanted her to be focused. So I always say that the best ways to train a dog are to use a walk and playtime. And you can see in this one training session, if you watch the other part of it, that that's exactly what we do here. This would be the leash work where I'm just saying, hey, look, you have lots of freedom, but there's also going to be times when I want you to pay attention to me. And then we use the toy for the same thing. Hey, you have lots of freedom, but we're going to need you to follow some basic rules that if you understand what the rules are, then it won't be any less fun. It'll just be different than what you're used to. And when I'm done training a dog like this over the course of however much time we spend together, the dog is not feeling like anything was taken away. It's not like sitting around like, oh man, I really miss when I used to go, wild and bonkers and all crazy. I really wish I could still be jumping on people and acting like an idiot every time something happens. No, not at all. The dog is if the owners are on board with the training and everything goes the way it should, the dog doesn't miss it at all. Like, they're actually stoked to realize that they don't have to be that way. Dogs want to just know their role. Some dogs, that role, they want to be the boss, and you're going to have to challenge them and always remind them, hey, you're not the boss. Other dogs, they just want to be a happy member of the family. And as long as you can show them a viable way that they can do that, then they're happy. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that was helpful.